Well, it does. I mean, one thing that I really did want to speak in there, which we just ran out of time, was instead of worrying about reparations, let's fix the problems of education, right? I mean, a lot of tension about reparations. As you know, we're in Kenya. Kenya really wanted reparations for the Mau Mau. They wanted reparations for, we've talked about reparations from the Caribbean. But one easy way to fix a lot of this is to empower the next few generations by, helping make our universities more resilient. Well, I think the UK would have to basically take some responsibility for what it did, and Australia has to take some responsibility for what it did in the Pacific, or New Zealand for that matter, and I think they have to be genuine about saying that there will be a pot of money which will be used as a futures fund, rather than simply finding imaginative ways to recolonize much of the post-colonial world. It's going to be very challenging, but I think the pressure has to be mounted. Right? I mean, I think, if the Commonwealth is going to be relevant, these sorts of questions are going to have to be solved. 33, I think, member states are small island countries. For example, the smallest one is probably Nauru with a population of about 10 to 11,000. And there are real problems with countries like Tuvalu, which is the next smallest country, which could possibly be after the Maldives, I think will be the next country to sink with climate change. So I think this sort of futures fund is a way to sort of future-proof the arguments about reparations as well. I think if they're really serious, they need to put education at the heart of what CHOGM does, right? And they haven't been doing that. It was a bit of a victory because, and that was really because of the King's special scholarships program, that we got some sort of a recognition as higher education institutes in the Pacific. Otherwise, I don't think education would have been really on the agenda at CHOGM at all. Yeah, but even at the lower levels, it's very, it's very dispersed and there is no coherent way in which this is done. In the Pacific, there was a very interesting way that the Pacific Island countries dealt with this, and that was they created a Pacific PACREF, the Pacific Regional Education Framework, which was run really from my university, and all the countries of the Pacific, agreed that they would pool resources to try and create a better education system for their countries. I think they've got to just really respect each other and work from the ground up, right? If there is still a tendency for universities in the global north to treat the universities in the global south with some chagrin. So I think there's an opportunity for some genuine partnerships, and those can then lead to a more concrete outcomes. I mean, I think governments will be more responsive if they see that happening. Yeah, I think it was a really interesting panel, and what was really unique about it was the different perspectives that came out of it. We all came from different parts of the world, and that really helped. But it was also about reimagining and actually coming up with some concrete ways in which the ACU can foster more collaboration amongst its members, and how we could actually make sure that it's not done on the dynamics of power, but rather on the basis of co-creation and partnerships, genuine partnerships.